What's up guys? It feels good to be back in here for legs. So it's been quite a while I think since we filmed legs for the YouTube, and quite a lot's changed since then. Obviously the last video would have covered that I got pretty ill. This is the second leg day coming back from that illness. So I'm pretty eager to crack on today and make some pretty big progressions. This leg session was just going so well, like crazily well. The setup, everything was perfect, and progressions are very continuous, and I saw a lot of growth from it. Like genuinely, this is the best leg day setup I've ever done, I think, for, you know, the goal of growing your legs, like especially your quads. And I do legs once a week, that's it. So trying to regather momentum, I've been quite impatient. I'm like very eager to get in and get things moving again. So it feels good to be in for legs. But when it's once a week, you know, I want to show you what setup I do when I hit legs literally once a week. And people would think, what, he's doing legs once a week because he doesn't need more legs, he's focused on other things, and that's true. But genuinely, since doing this, with this setup, my legs have grown, my quads have potentially grown the most I've ever seen, which is interesting, some food for thought. Sometimes maybe that lower frequency approach really does help. But yeah, I'm gonna show you the setup. It's a very good setup for growing your quads, and I'll explain why. But yeah, performance, I doubt it's gonna be at that peak level today. It's just about regathering that. In a couple of weeks, I can be back there for sure. But I just got to be patient, do some good quality work, and just slowly getting back up there. But yeah, it's going to be a good leg day, full volume. Last week was like slightly devolume, just to readapt recovery-wise. But today's full volume, we're getting after it. It's going to be a good one. Let's do it. Just some context with where I'm at right now, like with body weight. So I was 86.5 to 86.8, I think, before I got ill. Today I'm 84.5. So obviously a couple of kilos lighter. Definitely look a little bit leaner. But yeah, this session, like I'm going into this session compared to last week, I'm up maybe like 1.5 kilos. But it's just about slowly getting body weight back. So yeah, obviously when you're a little bit lighter, your confidence, your stability going into those heavier sets is going to be a little bit different as well. Just about keeping that in mind. But yeah, so we're going into this adductor. I've only ever done one set on adductors. Just for me, like my recovery just seems fine with one set, but when I go up, my adductors get pretty trashed, and the stimulus I can create is very high on this movement. I think my adductors are quite strong, as in visually, that I don't need that much volume for it. You know, one set a week, and they've just been, you know, progressing so much. So I think the most I did on this was I pinned 30. You know, it's not the heaviest adductor. I think we'll go for 20 or plus 25 today. Just taking my time with it. But yeah, feeling so much, I can tell in the warm-ups I feel a lot better today, which is good. Oh, fuck. Nice. So that was five kilos up max reps, which is obviously like quite big progression, but that's what I want for the whole of the session, like quite substantial progress. I think next week we'll have the same level of progress and I'll be back to where I was. I did plus 30 for 10 when I was 2 kilos heavier. So yeah, performance is pretty much back to like a decent spot now. And yeah, it's frustrating, like it's frustrating what happened, because I think things were going so well. If I kept moving forward, where would I be now? Because I could be even better. But I'm still very happy with where I was. And like getting back to there before prep is good for me. Like I know that's a competitive physique. Even though it could have been better if I didn't get ill, shit happens. I think people a lot of the time fail to realize like shit is gonna happen. Like you're gonna have challenges. I feel like on Instagram we just watch people all the time posting all the positive things that they go through and fail to actually realize that in the background, you know, things aren't gonna always go your way. And I had a very, very good positive streak with no problems for so long. So something had to give at some point, but. So we're going on to the lying leg curl. I do 2 sets of this and I rotate each week between seated leg curl and lying leg curl. So because I do legs once a week, I think it's useful there just to rotate between both. Do you need to do a lying leg curl to have big hamstrings? Potentially not. You could grow some massive hamstrings on a seated leg curl. If I was to pick one, I'd always pick the seated leg curl. Why? Because it provides way more stability. That stability means you can drive more force, more load, more mechanical tension. However, the reason that I do both is because this seated leg curl, you get a decent stretch, but it's not huge. And I think it's good to have a stable movement and then something that you can just take the hamstrings through a full stretch and also get the hamstrings fully shortened, which is what this allows me to do. So I rotate between both and then I hit hamstrings in pull as well. And I also rotate within the week. So because I did lying leg curl, I'll do seated leg curl and pull. And then next week I'll do seated leg curl and legs, and I'll do lying leg curl and pull. So I think when you're thinking about growing your hamstrings, you need to be able to get very strong at a leg curl, and you need to be aggressive with it. Stop being faffing around with some crazy setup where you lean forward and you're trying because you want more stretch. Create force, be stable, and get after it and get strong. That is key, absolutely key for growing your hamstrings. So we're going to do 75, which I got for 6 last time. That was before the illness. Now, I'm quite stubborn, so in my head I'm like, gotta do 75. Is that smart? Maybe it would be better to do 68. But in my head I'm like, if I do 75 and I can get 4 or 5 good reps, I know next week 6 is there, and I'll be back to where I need to be. So, last one I felt fine. I know 75 will move. We'll see what happens, but I have got 2 sets. So if this set's if I do fail at 4, I'll go a little bit lighter on the second set and get a bit more reps. Yes! Oh. Oh, fuck. So going on to a banded 45-degree leg press. So this has been a very good movement for me. Running this up and progressing it, it's just it's such a clear visual difference that it's created for my quads as I get stronger with this movement. And I think the reason being is because the profile is perfect now, and it's really made me rethink banded work, especially leg pressing, especially a 45-degree leg press when the profile was quite harsh. So Coach Caston actually did a post on this, and recently studies have come out on leg pressing, and they found that the quads through full range of motion or half reps on trained individuals, the quads grew the same. And he spoke about why this could be the case, and it makes perfect sense. And it's basically because a lot of these leg presses have such harsh profiles that full range of motion is taken away from your productivity and your stability. So this machine, it gets so heavy into the stretch without a band that it throws your hips out of position, it can throw your pelvis out of position, and your ability to drive force in an accurate way through your quads drops off. So what the band does is it just evens that out a little bit. It means that when I get into that lengthened position, it doesn't hit me like a truck. So I can own the weight more. In that stretch, I can actually make the benefit of the stretch more because I can feel it where I want to feel it and contract in the right way, if that makes sense. So, I do think full range of motion is king, absolutely, but done in the right way. Don't go into a full stretch but not own it and, just lose stability. So a band allows you to fix that problem. What it also does is it means I can challenge the shortened position a little bit more. It is heavy at the top still, and my quads right now are super fresh. I haven't actually trained my quads yet, so first movement in, doing something where I'm challenging that shortened position is good, because every other movement in this session doesn't challenge that shortened position. The hack has a nicer profile, but it is still heavier in the stretch. And then the leg extension that we use is very, very nice. Again, very heavy in the stretch, drops off into the short. So the sequencing of the exercises I do here is perfect. And it allows me to get strong in every area of a resistance profile, every area of the strength profile I want to focus on. So yeah, it's a good way of setting it up. And it's also, challenging me where I'm strongest still, at the top, and helping a little bit in that weaker position. So yeah, give it a try. If you're trying to reinvent your leg day a little bit, I really recommend the setup. I wouldn't do it on a pivot because the pivot is so heavy in the short, so you're just going to make that awful. 45-degree leg presses tends to be the option where a band works really nicely. It's funny, this leg press is feeling so different to last week. It feels like I know the movement now. Last week, everything felt pretty off. And it just shows that when you take time away, I did not hit legs for 3 weeks, which is crazy. But that time off, it's just skill. It's not muscle, well, it's gonna be a little bit muscle, but it is mostly skill. It's just like repassing in the movement. So this week, yeah, it feels a lot better. I know it's only 4 plates aside, but yeah, the real test will be when we add a bit more weight, but yeah, I can tell it's gonna be a lot better.
Easy, come on.
No!
Let's go. Big breaks, come on. Yep, all the way, come on. And again.
Yeah! Oh! Oh, I'll say that. I'm very happy with that. That was 7 decent reps. Last week I did 5 plus 1, but the plus 1 was a proper plus 1. So I could have maybe done 8 with a proper force rep, but I'm doing 2 sets. Last week I did 1. So I want to kind of allow myself to have a good quality second set as well, as opposed to just rinsing everything from 1 set and then ruining the next set, But I also need to be mindful of recovery a little bit, because last week it took me a good 5 days for my quads to recover. It's just crazy how unadapted you can become. So yeah, I think recovery will be better this week, even with the extra set, because the body adapts fast, but even so, I just need to be smart. Otherwise my hinge is just going to be trashed in a few days.
Good. Let's go.
2.
Come on.
Oh!
You. Let's go.
1.
Come on.
Oh! Oh, fuck it all. Oh my God. Oh. That is absolutely brutal. So much more horrendous than without the band, because it's like continuous tension. Whereas without the band, it kind of drops off. Oh. Yeah, it just rinses your quads. I'm happy with that. That's like, from my peak strength, it's 1 plate down on the back off, 2 reps up. So we'll get there, a couple of weeks. Fucking hell, my quads are ruined.
Good. Yes, good. Come on. Yeah, good. Come on, Adam. Let's go. Yeah.
2.
Come on. Work now. You.
Oh!
Come on.
Oh! 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 Fucking hell. Honestly, you'll be a much better bodybuilder if you stop worrying about the length of your sessions. Now, obviously, that is within a means. But I understand if you've got a busy work life and you have limited time, then you need to be smart with how you set up your sessions. But if you don't have limited time and you're worrying about the length of your session, I genuinely want to stress to stop doing that and just take your time, because it will allow you to maximize your sets. You'll maximize the tension you can create from your sets, the quality will be higher, and you will grow way more taking your time. Right now, my endurance isn't 100% because I came back from illness, and I am not looking at the clock. I'm not timing my rest. I'm sat here chilling until I feel like I can get the most out of my next set. You all know how you feel. Has your heart rate come down a little bit? If you're training legs, like, do your quads feel really pumped still, or is that going? You need to wait for those symptoms to go before you go into your next set. And I hear a lot of people complain about, or like worry about the length of their session when they don't need to. I never ever worry about how long I'm training for within the means that I can fit my schedule around it. So yeah, just take your time, don't rush it, don't look at the clock. I couldn't think of anything worse than like the clock pushing me into the next set. For me, training's all about having fun and attacking every set. So I'll just wait until I can do that. Simple. No! No! Oh, fuck. So we're going on to this really complicated setup. But no, it's not that complicated. It just requires a couple of things being maneuvered around 2 benches, one to brace against and then one to elevate my back foot to make it a split squat. But the reason why I'm doing this and the reason why it's worth the faff is because of the plane that it takes you through. So because it's pulling you back, it forces a lot more of a stretch through the glutes, whereas like if you're doing a normal split squat, it's straight up and down. Obviously you want to set up in a way where your hips do move backwards, but on this it kind of forces that to happen. So there's no really any way that any knee flexion, well, obviously your knee's going to bend, but there's no way that you're going to be lengthening the quads out too much and using the quads. For me, I've got extremely dominant quads. So when I've absolutely battered my quads before a split squat, I'm going to get some quads inevitably in a split squat. This allows myself to really prevent that from happening. It's forcing a lot of pressure through your heels, which is what you want. And it's also really stable. And for some reason, whenever I come out of like these split squats, I don't feel buried. You know when you come out of a split squat and you just feel like so fatigued? This feels like a nice stimulus, does what it needs to do. It's very stable. And it's gonna be I know it will be very retainable in prep. So yeah, I did the glute-biased leg press before running this. My quads were just burning, no matter how high I put my feet. When you have the dominant quads like I do, you need to get inventive, and this is the invention that has worked really well for me. Oh, fucking hell. So we're finishing off with calves. For most people, I think doing calves at the front of the session makes sense. The reason I don't is because I took it out from the front when I had some issues, like I had pains in my shins, which are very much gone now, but I feel like I can still produce high quality work at this stage. My volume obviously isn't that high in my leg day. So at this point I can still give it everything. In my opinion, I still think you can train calves really hard at the end. My preference is I like to go in and get quite quick to my leg press in my hacks. So I only do adductors and I do the leg press, and then I do leg curls and then I do the leg press. I've still got a lot of energy for that bigger lift, and that's what works well for me. So, but yeah, just some tips when you are training your calves. Always do it with something where you can create a straight leg, because that's going to allow you to do more stretch. So I'd always favour a standing calf raise, a donkey calf raise, or like a toe press over like a seated calf raise. You want to spend time in the stretch, so like a 3 count pause prevents the elasticity, and also you want to just spend time in that stretch position because that's what the calf is not used to. If you think about it, like we're always walking around and going into the short, so spending more time in that stretch makes absolute sense. So yeah, yes, you want to commit to getting it short, but also spend a lot of time in the length position, pause there, own that position as much as you can. Out. So. Go fucking hell. So yeah, we're just finishing off on abs. I think for some people, if your abs are a little bit weaker, I would do this at the start 100%, like right at the front of the session. It actually will really help warm you up and like kind of tick 2 boxes of doing some mobility before you go into your squats and stuff, because you're kind of moving through spinal extension and flexion, which will, obviously don't move your hips too much at all, but that movement will really loosen up your lower back as well, which is pretty useful. If you also have weak abs, I'd probably recommend doing like 3 sets instead of 2 in your leg days. I think abs are something you can really adapt to. Like you can probably run pretty high volume and tolerate it once you've adapted to it. But for most people, they won't need to do that. Like if you train the abs the right way, you know, if you think about the function of the abs, it's to take you through spinal extension, spinal flexion. If you do that the right way, you're gonna grow them. All I would say with that is like, don't let it go too far where you're like going like so exaggerated, because I think there is a balance there with like actually moving a lot of load with the good form that you're doing, moving like this. But I think if you go so exaggerated, sometimes you're just so obsessed with this, the minute you can't do this, you're just breaking it down. Like you still want to move under good amounts of load and really put your abs under adequate tension. So go quite heavy, but with good form, and understand what the function of the abs is. And then once you've done that, you know, chase the progress on the logbook. Don't be too like, oh, I've got to really move my spine like so exaggerated. Because yes, you want to move your spine 100% quite a lot, but I think some people, they train out their abs and it's like a bit of an afterthought. You still need to be chasing progressions pretty hard on this. So that's a wrap for today's leg session, which overall was a really good session, and very happy to be just getting more work done in my legs and getting that volume back in the legs. Because honestly, they disappeared with the 3 weeks of not training. But I think it will be a couple of sessions before we're back to that performance level I was previously at. I think it's more skill than anything on the bigger lifts. But yeah, like 2 reps away on isolations, and on the bigger lifts I'm a little bit further, but it will come, you know, it will come with time. Just need to be patient. But yeah, just showing you, you know, my leg day setup, which is potentially the best leg day setup I've ever ran. So much like good quality work that I can achieve with this setup. So if you want to grow your legs and you want to change something up, I do recommend giving a setup like this a go, because it's been working absolute wonders for myself. So yeah, really happy. But yeah, so obviously we took a bit of a break with uploads because I was ill and I couldn't film, but we're ramping them up again now, and it won't be long until prep kicks off, which is exciting. So yeah, we're going to keep the content coming. I do really appreciate the support on the YouTube, especially because it's dropped off a little bit with uploads recently, but we're getting it back. It's going to be good. More videos to come, I promise you now. We're really ramping it up. And yeah, I will see you in the next video very soon.